Good morning all. Happy Wednesday. Quick check on Edgar Allan Dough. She's rising. She's thriving. I was going to show you. Timmy made me treats. Timmy, I was going to get you to tell them about the treats.
Oh, I just got coffee on my keyboard.
Oh.
I'm not having a day, Hannah.
It's been a day. Do you want me to get her something to help you clean?
No.
It's almost like you have a towel behind you.
I don't want anything.
Okay.
I just want a nap.
We had a bit of a night last night.
Oh,
The Luna, at like 11 o'clock, decided to violently throw up throughout the house. And Tim was very worried that it meant that she'd eaten something, so he set up with her, watched her wet vac the cat, because she was on the carpet and the couch, two very fun things to clean. So he wet vac'd the two of them, and then stayed up with her, slept down on the couch with her. So he didn't get to sleep until almost 2 a.m. And then he's been up since, he had a call he had to take and drive into town for at 8 a.m. So he's been having a morning. Little Charlie boy had his usual excellent, let's wake up 3-4 times night. But Timmy did make me some treats. He made them between meetings. He's very proud of them. They're little chocolate cookies, bent and covered in caramel, like condensed milk topping. Quite nice. I am trying to eat healthy, so maybe not the best thing for me today, but it's very sweet of him, and he's very beautiful. I've got such a sweet little heart. Anyway, I'm going to talk while I do my sourdough. We're gonna cut this bit out. We're gonna cut this bit out. Cause Hannah needs to find her stuff. Cut it out. Oh! Actually, look at those bubbles! Oh, heck yeah, boy! Sorry, I've never hated the sound of something I said more. Regardless, it's getting there. Tim keeps getting mad that I discard the discard, so I'm not doing that today. Anyway, as a consequence of last night's activities, I'm spending today cleaning the couch, cleaning the lounge room, remaking beds, doing washing loads because she also threw up on blankets. It's going to be a big day. I was planning on a nice slow day to rest my back because it's still not feeling great, but that is life. Such is life. I'm actually getting really confident. I think I can make a loaf of bread in the next few days. I reckon I will. Perfect. Another water. Haha. Mixy, mixy, mixy. Ugh, once again, I hate that I just said that. Anyway, here's hoping today is a bit of an easier day. Yesterday was rough, but we got through it. As we always do. And really, this channel is not just Hannah does sourdough. It's just been a really hectic few weeks. And, yeah, I'm sure you can tell. Anyway. Bye for now.
Why are you filming me?
I love you.
Love you too. I'm trying to work.
This man I love. Love. Okay, that's all.
You're very pretty.
See you later.
Love you.
Come on, Luna. How'd you go? Live your best life. Hello again, friends. It is 8:10 at night. Charlie is asleep, and my sourdough has officially learnt how to double in size. Yay! That was equally sarcastic and equally real. Very confusing. Anyway, I'm going to do my usual thing and recap the day a little bit. She got bubbles. Oh, there's some good strands. Yeah, today was an okay day. My back's still recovering. So Charlie's still a little out of sorts. He's still very much teething. And yeah, I think we're all looking forward to a decent night's sleep. Not all of us will actually get one though. But tomorrow is another day. I think if all goes well in the morning, I will try and get the sourdough started. Maybe. Tim's had a big day. He's worked really hard. We still have those days. We're trying to be good, but we still have those days where we just don't have the energy, the capacity, the physical wellness to do a proper cook up, and so we end up getting takeaway for dinner, which is what it is. It's not the end of the world to happen occasionally. And yeah, like I said, tomorrow's another day. Don't be mad at ourselves. I don't know, I think I'm just rambling again. I cannot get this in the jar for some reason. She's looking good. She's looking healthy. She's looking healthy. She gonna make some yummy dough. Please and thank you. Maybe if I say please, it'll actually work. I can't get too mad. Edgar's pretty new. She's pretty fresh to the scene. She is trying her best, as am I. We're learning together. I love that I finally am out of the newborn stage and I decided to add this needy little bugger to my life. Because, why not? Anyway. She's looking all good and mixed up, so I'm going to tuck it in, sit down and do my Bible, and then probably head to bed myself. I mentioned yesterday I'm trying to do Bible in a year. I'm currently in Deuteronomy, and truthfully I am finding it really beneficial. Like, it's not always the most interesting thing. It's like, how many cubits do we build the tabernacle curtains, and how many hooks should it have, and what materials shall they be made out of? But I'm also finding it really, really beneficial to understand the origins of some of the things that I've been taught but didn't really understand about scripture. Even just in the rituals that the Israelites are told to do and the meaning behind them. So I personally am finding it really interesting. Interesting, and I'm also really finding it very beneficial. So yeah, I think I'm ahead of schedule. I try and read 5 chapters a night, just so when there's those nights where it's really rough with Charlie, when it's really rough with Charlie and I don't have it in me to stay up and read, I've made up for it by the fact I read more on other nights, because I think you have to read like 3.5 chapters a night to stay on track for the 365 days. So this way, it's a bit more lenient for the crazy schedule. We'll see how I go. It's looking good. And their little Eddie is all tucked in for the night. Alrighty, I'm gonna read my Bible and then head to bed. I think Tim wants to film later, but for now, good night.
Hi, it's been a while. Hannah's been doing a lot of the vlogging, not me. I've been just tired, really tired. Yeah, just super tired. I got hit pretty emotionally with the events of a few weeks ago, and And I've struggled to sort of come back, and I said to her, I'm just feeling like I'm on the edge of the flu. You know, where you get that sort of feeling around the eyes and around the head. I'm like, oh no, don't be sick. I don't have time to be sick. But anyway, I thought I would just check in, do a bit of an update. I thought I'd pull one of these cards out of the game that Caitlin got me, the What's Your Story memory sharing game. And the very first one, a favorite comfort food. Now, why is this interesting? Why is it important? Remember that big, hairy, audacious goal? Oh boy, I'm not. I'm behind. Let's just say I'm behind. Okay, I'm not saying it's impossible. I think it's still hairy and audacious, and it is a health thing. So I should be careful because I can flip flop between extremes, and I don't want to encourage that with anybody that happens to be viewing this either. So I have been comfort fooding. Let's just say since a couple of weeks ago, and I am behind. What I'm going to do is do the healthy thing, which is I'm going to, I've got some not so great food left in the house at the moment. Not a lot, but that's it. I'm not going to purchase any more. And then back to it. So I've got, meat, I got veggies, I got eggs, all the good stuff. And I'm going to stick to that once the bad stuff is gone. So I do need to start fasting again. What I don't want to do and what I don't like doing is fasting the day after I've eaten poorly. I want to make sure that I've cleared my body of anything that's sort of not so great and I'm fueling myself properly before I go and do, something like a single day or potentially multi-day fast. So that I might take up again next week. Today's Wednesday already. Yeah. Anyway, all is going well. I just wanted to say hi. Hannah has been just amazing with her filming and her editing for me. I've been swamped with work. I'm behind, man. I'm perpetually behind. It is what it is. It is what it is. Happy Wednesday. Yeah. My right eye is having allergies. I apologize. I wanted to read something I thought was pretty cool. I read this yesterday. I'm reading through Romans at the moment. Romans 7, starting in chapter 1. I'll take you through a little bit of it. I'm not going to put the text down the bottom. Don't worry about putting the text down the bottom. But it's Romans 7. I'm reading New King James. It's talking about freedom from the law, which is interesting. It says, "Or do you not know, brethren, for I speak to those who know the law, that the law has dominion over a man as long as he lives." That's the key thing. "For the woman who has a husband is bound by the law to her husband as long as she lives. But if the husband dies, she's released from the law of her husband. So then, if while her husband lives, she marries another man, she's called an adulteress. But if her husband dies, she's free from that law, so that she's not an adulteress, though she has married another man." Verse 4, "Therefore, my brethren, you also have become dead to the law through the body of Christ, that you may be married to another, to him who has raised you from the dead, that we should bear fruit to God. For when we were in flesh, the sinful passions which were aroused by the law were at work in our members to bear fruit to death. But now we have been delivered from the law, having died to what we were held by, so that we should serve in the newness of the Spirit and not in the oldness of the letter." That was a very interesting, especially the first part for me reading that yesterday. That was a very interesting take I'd never sort of thought of before. Is that while you are, it's like that. There was a case. I don't know if it was real or not. I was reading an article a little while ago about this guy who was given a life imprisonment, so life sentence basically, and he had a cardiac arrest. He was pronounced dead. I think this is the story. I might be misquoting. He had a cardiac arrest. He was pronounced dead, and then he miraculously came back. And I'm pretty sure he argued that he had served his life sentence and was allowed to walk free. You can 100% fact check me. I think I may have gotten details of that wrong, but it just got me thinking, because the sentence was, you will remain in prison until you die, and he was pronounced dead and then came back to life. This dude, so he was like, well, on paper, man, I've served my sentence. So interesting hearing in Romans 7. It was 7, right? I'm just going to double check because I don't want to misquote again. Yes, Romans 7. That was talking about, okay, we're free. There was law, so the old Hebrew law was intense. You go back, and this is something that a lot of Christians or those who've walked away from the faith, and potentially gone through that whole deconstruction phase, talk about, is that there's just such intense law and so many intense rules. You read back, Leviticus is one that's quoted a lot for really, really intense laws. Like, oh, you're wearing fabrics of 2 types. Is that bad? Righty. And it's fair. Like, if you were told, hey, and this is only a subset of the laws too. Like, you hear the 10 Commandments, you read the book of Leviticus, all this sort of things. There are so many more laws that go into that. And your job as a Hebrew is to follow those laws to the T. And when you make a mistake, it's sin, and you got to go through a whole, process. So when Jesus came, what people were trying to explain was that you didn't, like, the sacrificial program, so to speak, that you had to go through to cleanse yourself following certain types of sin has now been paid. So what that meant was, in the old days, when you sin, there must be punishment for that sin, which is blood, and God allowed for animal sacrifice to cover the blood of that sin. And it was an ongoing thing that you had to repeat as you sin until you die, and whatever else. But when Jesus came and Jesus died, that was not animal blood. That was a perfect human. That was perfect human blood, right? That Jesus had. So Jesus paid that sin completely, meaning that the law is now, through the death of Christ as well, the law that you had to follow through life, or through the life of sin, is now finished. You have finished your tie to that law. And this is the difference, right? There's all these different bits and pieces of law and rules and all this in the Older Testament, and they certainly have their place. I don't want to sort of tell people you don't have to follow the law, because that's not what I'm trying to say at all. But we follow Jesus, right? We follow what Jesus Christ has told us to do, and how do I word this? I'm hoping I'm not wording this really, really poorly, but this is just something I was learning. Was the example that was given in Romans 7 about the woman who by law is contracted to her husband, essentially, right? And so if you go and get married again, while you're married, you're an adulteress. But if your husband passes, you are free from this is probably not a great way to put it, you're free from the commitment of that marriage. So if you then go and marry another, you're not breaking the contract of the initial marriage, if that makes sense. So when Christ died, as believers, we believe that our sin, our old self, our old life died with Christ, and we were born again through Christ, right? So our contraction, I suppose, to that law, and this is what it was saying in verse 4, that you may be married to another, to him, Christ, who was raised from the dead, and we should bear fruit to God. So you become dead to the law through the body of Christ, that you may be married to another, to him who was raised from the dead, that we can bear fruit to God. For when we were in the flesh, the previous life, well, in our flesh of sin, the sinful passions which were aroused by the law were at work in our members to bear fruit to death. But now we've been delivered from the law, having died to what we were held by, so that we should serve in the newness of the Spirit and not in the oldness of the letter of the law, essentially. So, yeah, just an interesting way of looking at it. I hadn't seen it, or made that comparison before to marital law. Interesting stuff. I don't know. I find this stuff interesting.